Hi, I'm Kaylee, and this is my TBR for the end of the year, books that I absolutely must finish before December 31st. So I do have specific books that I absolutely want to finish this year in order to meet some of the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year, or even just books that I've really been looking forward to reading, and somehow I keep putting it off and I keep reading other things and just, no, I need to go ahead and sit down and read it. But before I let you know the books that I'm absolutely determined to read before the end of the year, I want to make sure that you know that Books for MKs is a charity that donates books to missionary kids. Today's Mkay Shoutout goes to Alicia, who is 13 years old and lives in Kenya. She loves books about history and she loves biographies. If you want to donate to Alicia or to children like her, you can donate to the Books for MKs charity at GoFundMe.com. And please subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to click on that little notification bell. So in addition to other books that I will probably be reading anyway, I have 18 books that I am absolutely determined that I must read. I have 2 books left in the Scarlet Pimpernel series by Baroness Earthsea. I need to read Mademoiselle Guillotine and Child of the Revolution. I have enjoyed the Scarlet Pimpernel series so much, and there's a lot of books in that series. I want to say it's 14 or 15 books, and I am finally getting down to the end, and it's kind of bittersweet because once I'm done, you know how it is, there are no more Scarlet Pimpernel books to read. You've read them all. So I always hate finishing a series because, you know, you love to finish the series and you enjoy it, but then, and you have that sense of accomplishment, like, haha, I did it, I read them all, but also like, aw, there's no more, man. The next series that I'm trying to finish up is the Earthsea series by Ursula Le Guin. I am currently reading Tales of Earthsea. I'm like a third of the way through, so I'm getting that one finished up. And then I also need to read The Other Wind. So if I can get these read, then I can finish up the Earthsea series, which I've enjoyed so much. It's really epic fantasy and has a lot of deep and sometimes dark themes, but it also kind of brings in a lot of fairy tale elements to it, which I absolutely love. I have a couple of classics that I want to finish out for this year. I want to read Madame Bovary. I honestly have no clue what this is about. I have not read a synopsis. I have not read anything about it. I have no clue of anything. Which sometimes with classics, that's kind of the best way to come into it, is completely fresh, you don't know anything about it, and you just kind of jump in. I chose Madame Bovary to be on my TBR list for this year because it's fairly short, and I have been reading some longer classics this year, and so I wanted to just kind of have a short one that I could finish up quickly. One of the longer classics that I want to read is The Life of Charlotte Bronte by Elizabeth Gaskell. This has been on my TBR for years, and I finally just need to sit down and read it. I love Elizabeth Gaskell, and I love Charlotte Bronte, and I have heard that you have to take this biography kind of with a grain of salt because Elizabeth Gaskell would kind of elaborate on things and exaggerate a little bit and just make stuff up. So I will be interested to read it and kind of see where is this a biography that we can trust, or where is it one where it's taken some liberties with actual historical facts. I have been meaning to read Stephenie Meyer's The Chemist literally since it was published, since it came out, and I just never quite got around to it. There were just always other things that I would end up reading, and so now finally I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read it. This is also a little bit outside of the normal style of book and the genre that I would usually read. I don't read a lot of like crime, thrillers, whatever, I don't know. So I'm just interested to see if this crime story or detective story or whatever will be quite what I expect, or if it will surprise me. I'm currently in the middle of reading Timothy Keller's book on prayer. I'm really enjoying it, but it is very dense in, not the writing necessarily, but with a lot of very deep themes, where I read a section or a chapter, and then I kind of want to just sit and think about it for a while and kind of digest it and see how I want to implement these ideas into my own prayer life. So it's taken me a while to read it because I want to read it slowly and really understand what I'm reading and be able to apply these, spiritual principles to my own life. So I'm taking a long time to read it, but I need to get it read within the next 2 months, before New Year's Day. I want to finish it up. I also am trying to finish up the Septimus Heap series by Angie Sage. The last 2 books in the series are Fire and Dark. I have so enjoyed this series. It's a little difficult to get into at first. The writing style is kind of different from, just most of the books that I read in fantasy. There are a lot of different characters and a lot of details, and sometimes an entire book will only span like 2 days of actual time in the story. But there are so many characters that we're following and we bounce back and forth between what's this character doing, what's that character doing, and then we kind of go back and see what that other character did at the same time that this other person, and just on and on. And so there's not a lot of time that's passed, but there's a lot of story. I have really enjoyed it. It's very imaginative and interesting with really well fleshed out characters. Every book has just been a complete delight, but you do sort of have to put in the effort to remember what everybody's names are, and it's enjoyable, but it's like, it's work to read it. And I have 2 books by Gail, Carson, Levine that I bought as soon as they came out, and then I set them aside. These are The Lost Kingdom of Bamar and Ogre Enchanted. The Lost Kingdom of Bamar is a prequel to the Sisters of Bamar, the 2 Princesses of Bamar, which is one of my favorite books by Gail, Carson, Levine. And Ogre Enchanted is a sequel, prequel, something like in the same world building as Ella Enchanted. So 2 of my favorite books by this author, the Bamar book and Ella Enchanted, and I have set these aside and I have not read them yet because I'm just so afraid that I'll be disappointed, that it won't be as good as the first book. And I just keep setting it aside. And then I'll also think, well, what if I really, really love it and it gives me a book hangover? So whether I hate it or whether I love it, either way, I just don't want to pick it up. So I finally need to just bite the bullet, sit down and read it. If it's good, then great. If it stinks, then oh well, I'll just be disappointed, but I need to just read it already. And those are the books that I absolutely must finish by the end of this year. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what are some books that are on your TBR that you have told yourself, I must finish it before the end of this year. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.